I woke up in the hospital bed, tubes in my arms, monitors beeping steadily beside me. The stroke had been sudden, severe, the kind that makes doctors talk in hushed tones and use words like recovery time and rehabilitation. My daughter Jessica was sitting in the chair next to my bed, scrolling through her phone. She looked up when I stirred. "Mom, you're awake." She pressed the call button for the nurse. "How are you feeling?" "Tired," I managed. My voice sounded strange, slurred. "How long?" "You've been here for 3 weeks. The stroke was bad, Mom. We were really scared." 3 weeks. I tried to process that. 3 weeks of my life. Gone. "Where's your brother?" "Kevin's handling some things. He'll be by later." Something in her tone made me uneasy, but I was too tired to question it, too weak to do anything but drift back to sleep. It wasn't until 2 days later, when the physical therapist was helping me walk down the hallway, that I overheard them. Jessica and Kevin, in the family waiting room. Voices low, but not low enough. "The closing's next week," Kevin said. Businesslike. "We should have the money by the end of the month." "What about Mom?" Jessica asked. "What about her? She can't live alone anymore. You saw her. She can barely walk. She'll need full-time care." "But we didn't even ask her." "She was unconscious, Jess. Someone had to make decisions. The house is too big for her anyway. The nursing home will be better." My blood ran cold. They were selling my house? The house I'd lived in for 40 years? Where I'd raised them? Where their father and I had built our life together before cancer took him? And they hadn't even asked me. Let me give you context, because you need to understand what that house meant to me. My name is Eleanor Mitchell. I'm 73 years old, widowed for 6 years. I have 2 children, Jessica, 45, and Kevin, 42. My husband, Thomas, and I bought that house in 1983. A beautiful Victorian in a historic neighborhood. 3 stories, wraparound porch, original hardwood floors. We'd scraped and saved for years to afford it. Thomas was a carpenter. He spent 15 years restoring every detail. The crown molding, the built-in bookshelves, the stained glass window in the dining room. That house wasn't just a house. It was his legacy, his art, his love letter to our family. When he died, I'd promised him I'd take care of it, keep it in the family, pass it down to the kids someday. I assumed someday meant when I was gone. Apparently, my children had other plans. I didn't confront them immediately. I was still too weak, still dependent on them for everything, and I needed to understand exactly what they had done. Over the next week, I pieced it together. Kevin had power of attorney. I'd signed it years ago. Standard estate planning, just in case something happens. While I was unconscious, he'd used that power to sell my house. Listed it, accepted an offer, signed the papers, all without my knowledge or consent. "It's for your own good, Mom," Jessica said when I finally confronted them. "You can't manage that big house anymore. The stairs alone are dangerous." "That's my decision to make." I angry. "You weren't in a position to make decisions. The doctors said you might not wake up. We had to plan for your care." "I did wake up, and you still didn't tell me." "We were going to tell you. We just wanted to wait until you were stronger." "Stronger? Or until it was too late to stop you?" They exchanged glances. "Mom, be reasonable," Kevin started. "Get out." "What?" "Get out of my hospital room now, both of you." "Mom, you're being irrational." "I said get out." They left, and I sat in that hospital bed, shaking with rage and betrayal, and started planning. The social worker came to see me the next day. Her name was Patricia, late 50s, kind eyes. She'd been checking on me throughout my stay. "Your children told me you're upset about the house sale," she said gently. They had no right. Actually, pause, they did. Power of attorney gives them legal authority to make financial decisions on your behalf if you're incapacitated. I'm not incapacitated anymore. I know, but the sale was finalized while you were. Legally, it's complicated. I felt tears burn my eyes. So they just get away with it? Patricia hesitated. Can I ask you something? What happens to the money from the house sale? I don't know. Kevin's handling everything. He says it'll go toward my nursing home care. And after that, if there's money left over, she asked. I stared at her. It would be part of my estate, split between them when I die. Exactly. The implication hung in the air. My children weren't just selling my house to pay for my care. They were liquidating my assets to ensure they got their inheritance? There's something else you should know, Patricia said, carefully. I've worked with many families in situations like this, and often when adult children make decisions like this without consulting the parent, there are other issues. What kind of issues? Financial issues, desperation. Sometimes the money isn't about your care at all. I hired a lawyer. Or rather, I had Patricia help me hire a lawyer since I couldn't exactly leave the hospital yet. His name was Marcus Webb, a state attorney, shark in a suit. Your children exploited your medical crisis, he said bluntly, after reviewing everything. So, I can't stop them? The sale is done. The house closes in 4 days. But, tell me, Mrs. Mitchell, are you actually planning to go into a nursing home? No, I want to go back to my house. I want physical therapy and home health care and to die in the place where I lived with my husband. Good, because that gives us leverage. Marcus pulled out some papers. I'm going to file a complaint with Adult Protective Services about financial exploitation. I'm also going to help you revoke Kevin's power of attorney and create new estate documents. Will that get my house back? No, but it will freeze your assets and trigger an investigation. And it will make sure that when the dust settles, you're the one who controls what happens next. What about Kevin and Jessica? Marcus looked at me seriously. That depends. How badly do you want them to pay for this? I thought about Thomas, about the house he'd restored with his own hands, about the promise I'd made. I want justice, I said. Whatever that takes. The investigation moved quickly. Adult Protective Services showed up at Jessica's house 2 days after we filed the complaint. Turned out Marcus's instincts were right. Kevin was in debt, serious debt. He'd made bad investments, gotten involved in a business deal that went south, and was facing potential bankruptcy. Jessica's husband had lost his job 8 months ago. They were behind on their mortgage, drowning. They'd been planning to use the money from my house sale, nearly $600,000, to solve their financial problems. The nursing home they'd chosen, the cheapest facility they could find, $1,500 a month, Medicaid eligible after my savings ran out. They'd been planning to pocket the rest, over $500,000. We were going to take care of you, Jessica sobbed when I confronted them in the hospital, Adult Protective Services investigator present. With the cheapest possible care while you split $600,000? We needed it. Kevin's going to lose everything. My marriage is falling apart. We're your children. You should want to help us. I would have helped you, I said quietly, if you'd asked, if you'd been honest. But you didn't. You waited until I was unconscious and sold my life out from under me. Kevin didn't even try to defend himself, just sat there, staring at his hands. The sale is going through, the investigator said, but we're freezing the proceeds pending investigation. No one gets that money until we determine what's appropriate. That's my money, Kevin shouted. Actually, Marcus interjected, it's your mother's money, from her house, and she's going to decide what happens to it. I was released from the hospital 3 weeks later. Not to a nursing home, but to a furnished apartment that Marcus helped me find. 1 floor, accessible, close to physical therapy. The house, my house, was gone. New owners moved in the day after I left the hospital. I drove past it once, saw children playing in the yard, a wreath on the door, someone else's life beginning where mine had been. It hurt more than I expected, but I was alive, recovering, getting stronger every day. And I had $600,000 sitting in a frozen account.
The investigation concluded 4 months later. Kevin and Jessica were found to have exploited my incapacity for financial gain. Not criminal charges, the power of attorney complicated things legally, but civil findings. Enough to matter. The money was released back to me. All of it. Marcus helped me set up a trust, ironclad. No more power of attorney for my children, a professional trustee instead. And then I had to make a decision. What to do about Kevin and Jessica. They'd been calling, texting, showing up at my apartment. "We're sorry. We made a mistake. You're our mother. You have to forgive us. We're family." Family, the word that had once meant everything, now felt hollow. I invited them both to my apartment for a meeting. They arrived nervous, hopeful. "Mom, we're so sorry," Jessica started immediately. "We know we messed up. We were desperate and we made terrible choices, but we love you and we want to make this right." "How?" I said. "How do you make this right? You sold my house, the house your father built, the house where we raised you, where every room has memories, where I plan to die someday." "We know," Kevin said, "and we can't undo it, but we can try to rebuild your trust." "Can you?" I looked at them, really looked at them, these people I'd raised, fed, loved, sacrificed for. When had they become strangers? Or had they always been this way, and I'd just refused to see it? "I've been thinking a lot about family," I said, measured, "about what it means, what it should mean." They waited. "Your father and I gave you everything. We lived modestly so you could have opportunities. We saved so you could go to college. We helped with down payments on your houses. We babysat your kids. We showed up for every recital, every game, every milestone." "We know," Jessica tried. "I'm not finished," she said sharply. She fell silent. "We did all that because we loved you, because that's what parents do. We never expected payback, never kept score. We just wanted you to have good lives. But somewhere along the way, you started seeing me differently, not as your mother, as an asset, a resource, something to manage and liquidate when convenient." "That's not fair," Kevin started. "Isn't it? You sold my house while I was unconscious. You planned to put me in the cheapest possible nursing home and pocket the difference. You were going to let me live out my final years in a Medicaid facility while you paid off your debts with my life savings." Silence. "So here's what's going to happen," I continued. "I'm going to use my money to live, comfortably, in a place of my choosing, with care that I decide on. And when I die, if there's anything left, it's going to charity." "What?" Jessica looked stricken. You heard me. You've already taken your inheritance. You sold it for $600,000 that you were planning to steal. So consider yourselves paid. Mom, please, Kevin's voice broke. You're still my children, and part of me will always love you, but I don't trust you anymore, and I don't owe you anything. Can we at least see you, visit, be part of your life? Jessica was crying. I thought about it, really thought about it. Maybe, I said finally. Someday, when I'm ready. But not now. Right now, you need to leave. They left, and I sat in my apartment alone and cried for the family I'd thought I had. That was 2 years ago. I'm 75 now, living in a beautiful assisted living community. My choice, not theirs. I have friends here, activities, purpose. I volunteer teaching art classes to kids in the community. I travel occasionally, did a river cruise through Europe last fall that Thomas and I had always talked about. The money is managed by the trust. I have enough for excellent care for the rest of my life. Whatever's left goes to a foundation for stroke research and recovery. Kevin and Jessica still reach out occasionally. Birthday cards, holiday texts, tentative emails asking how I'm doing. I respond sometimes, keep it brief, polite, distant. They've apologized dozens of times, sent flowers, shown up at the facility wanting to visit. I've seen them twice in 2 years. Both times were fine, awkward but civil. They told me about their lives. I listened, shared a little about mine. But the warmth is gone, the trust, the deep bond that's supposed to exist between parent and child. Maybe it'll come back someday. Maybe with time and effort and genuine change, we can rebuild something. Or maybe this is just who we are now, connected by biology, but separated by betrayal. People ask me if I regret cutting them out of my inheritance. The answer is complicated. Part of me, the mother part, still wants to provide for them, still feels guilty about leaving them nothing. But the stronger part, the part that remembers waking up to discover my children had sold my life out from under me, knows I made the right choice. They taught me something important. You can love someone and still protect yourself from them. I loved my children. I still do, in a broken, distant way. But I don't owe them my financial security, don't owe them blind forgiveness, don't owe them a relationship they didn't value until it was gone. The house is the thing that still hurts. I drive past it sometimes, see the new family, the changes they've made, the basketball hoop in the driveway, the new paint on the shutters. It's not mine anymore. But Thomas's work, his careful restoration, his attention to detail, his love poured into every corner, that's still there. And in a way, maybe that's enough. Maybe the house was never really mine to keep. Maybe it was always meant to shelter different families, different love stories, different generations. Maybe trying to hold on to it forever was just another form of selfishness. I don't know. What I do know is this. I'm 75 years old. I survived a massive stroke. I lost my house and my relationship with my children, and I'm okay. more than okay. Because I learned that I'm stronger than I thought, that I can rebuild a life even when everything falls apart, that I don't need the house or the family or the future I'd planned to have meaning and joy. I have myself, my dignity, my choices, my boundaries. And that's more than I had before.
Last month, Jessica called. "Mom, I'm pregnant," she said. My first reaction was joy. Automatic. A grandchild. New life. Hope. My second reaction was more complicated. "Congratulations," I said, carefully. "We're having a girl. We want to name her Eleanor. After you." I felt tears sting my eyes. "That's lovely." "I want her to know you, Mom. I want to make this right, please." I was quiet for a long time. "I don't know, Jessica," I said finally. "I want to, but I'm not ready." "When will you be ready?" "I don't know. Maybe never. Maybe tomorrow. I need time." "Time's running out, Mom. You're 75, you had a stroke. What if something happens and we never fix this?" "Then that's the consequence of what you did," I said softly. "I'm not responsible for fixing what you broke. You are." "I don't know how." "Neither do I admitted. "But selling my house while I was dying wasn't a mistake, Jessica. It was a choice. And choices have consequences." We didn't talk for the rest of the call, but I didn't hang up. Neither did she. We just sat there, connected by phone lines and blood and complicated love and irreparable damage. "I do love you," she said finally. "I know," I said, sad. "That's the hardest part. I don't know how this story ends. I don't know if I'll ever fully forgive Kevin and Jessica, if we'll ever rebuild our relationship, if I'll meet my granddaughter. I don't know if cutting them out of my inheritance was justice or just another form of hurt. I don't know if I'm being strong or just stubborn, protective or just bitter. What I know is this: I'm still here, still living, still making choices. I lost my house, but I kept my dignity. I lost the family I thought I had, but I found the strength I didn't know I possessed. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes, that feels like enough. The woman who woke up in that hospital bed 3 years ago wouldn't recognize me now. She was weaker, more trusting, more willing to sacrifice her own well-being for her children's happiness. I'm not her anymore. I'm changed. I'm Eleanor Mitchell, 75 years old, stroke survivor, mother of 2 children I barely speak to, soon to be granddaughter to a girl who might never know me. And I'm okay with that. Most days. You know what nobody tells you about getting older? That sometimes the people who betray you are the ones you raised, the ones you sacrificed for, the ones you thought would take care of you when you couldn't take care of yourself. Eleanor's children didn't see her as a person. They saw her as an asset to manage, a problem to solve, a source of money they felt entitled to because they'd been born. And when she was at her most vulnerable, unconscious, fighting for her life, they chose themselves over her. If you're listening to this and you have aging parents, please hear this. Power of attorney is a sacred trust. It's not a license to steal. It's not permission to make decisions based on your needs instead of theirs. Your parents' money is their money. Their house is their house. Their choices are their choices. Even if you disagree, even if you think you know better. And if you're listening to this and you're the parent, the one who's been betrayed, exploited, dismissed. I see you. I know how much it hurts. I know the grief is complicated because you're not just mourning what happened, you're mourning who you thought they were. You don't owe them forgiveness. You don't owe them access. You don't owe them your money or your trust or your final years. You owe yourself peace, safety, dignity. And if that means boundaries that feel harsh, so be it. Eleanor made her choice. She chose herself, her security, her right to control her own life. Some people think she was too harsh, that families should forgive, that children make mistakes. But selling someone's house while they're dying isn't a mistake. It's a betrayal. And betrayal has consequences. Maybe someday Eleanor and her children will heal. Maybe she'll meet her granddaughter. Maybe love will find a way. Or maybe she'll live out her days surrounded by friends instead of family, supported by paid caregivers instead of children, leaving her legacy to strangers instead of blood relatives. And you know what? Either way is okay, because family isn't who you're born to. It's who shows up, who respects you, who values you beyond what you can give them. Thank you for listening to Eleanor's story. If it resonated with you, if you've been betrayed by family, or you're caring for an aging parent, or you're somewhere in between, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. These conversations matter. These stories matter. This is Revenge Diaries, where sometimes the best revenge is simply choosing yourself. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other.